Welcome, welcome, welcome. I have a special guest here. This is Anthony Ambriz. This guy is coming in from Utah. I'm coming in from Colorado. We're neighboring states. It's pretty cool. And I saw this guy post something really cool on a ClickFunnels group page. And I was just really impressed. And I said, how can I build a network with other influencers out there that are doing great work, helping people understand things that are out there, but they don't really understand it. Like most people don't understand like Facebook Lives well. Most people don't understand, SEO well. Most people don't understand how to build a Facebook group the right way. Most people don't understand YouTube. They know that they should probably have a YouTube channel, but they don't really like get the big idea of how do they make sales through it? Should they do advertising on it? The things that I don't know either. So I'm just as much as a neophyte to this as anybody else that will be watching. And I don't know how to build a channel the right way, getting subscribers. So first of all, I just want to welcome you to our chiropractic world.
Well, we're glad to be here. This is cool.
Yeah. And from the title of this is turning chiropractors into influencers through YouTube. I know you've done this for a number of other influencers out there, but I think doctors should be influencers too.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that was a big thing that needed to get done during this past pandemic. We needed a lot of voices out there to help us out, not just people on the Facebook comments.
Yeah, and building people up that actually we need to build some credibility around their brand and their message and their story. And most people don't know that there's a lot of natural choices out there for their health. So I know that now more than ever, we need to support the natural healers of this world, which we've been doing for a long time now. But I know there's a certain strategy. So maybe we could just strip down YouTube a little bit and build it up from the ground up and talk about the nuts and bolts of why chiropractors would need to have some type of a presence on YouTube. And then we can talk a little bit after that, the right way to do it.
Yeah, definitely. So I would, one of the biggest things, and I think most people sort of realize this, is that when people need help or they have a question and they're looking for an answer, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to go to Google, right? But I say the second thing most people do after they see the long list of articles that appear on Google is they go to YouTube to try to find an answer or try to figure out something, right? I would even say on the review side of things, even like people are trying to get recommendations from people, right? And now what I love about this is that you mentioned how, it can turn chiropractors into influencers. I think that everyone can be an influencer, and everyone sort of is. Like we have a circle of influence around us. And that's where YouTube comes into play, because more than anything, YouTube allows you to create videos where people get to see you talk and get to know you. And as people start to know you, they start to like you. And then of course they start to trust you. And then we get into that realm of like, well, if they trust you, they'll want to do service with you, or they'll want to buy whatever it is that you're offering. Because they trust your expertise and authority that you build. And the thing is too, especially in the chiropractic world or in most other industries, there are already people out there creating content, especially on YouTube, and they're building a brand where they might not even necessarily be selling anything, but they're putting their voice out there and their brand out there. And it's sort of like this lost opportunity that you're missing out for not putting your face and your expertise and your knowledge out there for people to see.
You said some things there that everybody's an influencer. And I really wanted to expand upon that a little bit. I teach people how to build their influence in a local market. So what I do is I teach them how to upstart a podcast, but not for like a global market. Like some people think, like, yeah, I'm going to interview everybody and I'm going to be everywhere. Well, I teach people how to build a network doing interview styles and solo episodes for their patient base, number one, but also to interview other business owners in your community within 7 miles around you. So that would be a great, addition to teaching people how to do that strategy, and then to say, okay, what's next? So if people have that strategy down and they're interviewing people and they're doing, 1 minute topic videos 5 days a week, and they're doing, an interview once every 2 weeks or once a week, and they're using that and they're pushing those onto YouTube, what would be next for them?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things there is that yeah, you're building that influence, whether it's through podcasting or whether it's through YouTube channel. But the truth is, like, one way I also look at YouTube is that YouTube can be a huge resource as customer support for your business, right? Um, because there's all sorts of questions that get asked when someone wants to go to your location or wants to know a little bit more of this or that, and there's always these frequently asked questions, and that's where, instead of just having this whole page on a website where someone can read it, why not address it and let people get to know you or get to know other people in your company, right? And so that way you can have those videos that address those questions. And so even on a local level, now you're sort of you're basically, the level of competition you're giving people who are also in that region. Like, once they look at other competitors' sites, they're going to look at this. They're going to see a bunch of stuff they have to read. They go to your site and they see videos and they see explainers of simple questions that they might have, like, is this scary? Is it going to hurt? Is it, painful or whatever, right? They'll be able to see those videos that you produce, and it's going to build that confidence in you and wanting to go to you. So that's where you get to be an advantage over the rest of the competition, and have that advantage over the rest of the competition around you.
And earlier off camera, we were talking a little bit about, do we build subscribers first, or do we go for sales first? And I know everybody out there is, well, how the heck do I sell through YouTube? And they're probably thinking, like, do I get advertisers, and how do I get advertisers? And I'm sure there's so many, questions, and so many people, like you said, they do default to YouTube University. Like, they're like, well, how do I change a part of my car? Well, I'm going to go watch that thing on YouTube. How do I cook something in the kitchen? Well, I'm going to go watch YouTube. How do I find out information about what chiropractors do? Well, hopefully we can drive them to YouTube. So understanding that, what are the Heinz 57 or the Baskin Robbins recipes behind people getting subscribers, and the sales strategies?
Yeah, for sure. So the reason why I have people not focus on gaining subscribers, right? To really answer that question, I would say focus on getting sales, right? And so now the question is like, well, how do I do that? But let's address the idea of wanting subscribers, because everybody always wants to have those numbers go up because it looks good. It's the vanity metric. And that's not to say that subscribers aren't important. I just want to say that subscribers are going to come when you're putting out good quality content. So that's all there is to it. But good quality content does not convert to sales. And for example, in fact, right now we just had the Super Bowl game, where lots of fun commercials get put out there, and all this stuff, and budgets of millions of dollars get put into creating these big game commercials, and some of them are funny and memorable, but they don't necessarily equal to sales. Like, they equal to sales in the sense that the brand is top of mind, but it doesn't really direct you to go somewhere to go buy. It's just, now you're thinking about Doritos or whatever it is, or Cheetos, right? And then next time you're at the store, you're gonna see the placement of the Cheetos. You're gonna see stuff there, and then that's what's gonna make you buy, right? So when trying to get sales on YouTube, it's the fact that you are providing value, and then you're actually telling them to go visit your sites, or go book a call, or go get the PDF that sort of breaks down more of what it is that you're offering, right? Or the checklist, or how to prepare yourself for your first chiropractic appointment, things like that. And those things will build your email list and help you then have people coming back to your channel to watch content, because with that email list, You can now email them about your newest videos. You can now email them about offers. More than anything, as a business owner, you know that an email is very precious and very important because email starts to equal dollars. And that's where a YouTube channel tends to automate that entire process. With each video that you create will always start to generate you leads that you can then start emailing and get sales that way.
Well, think about this. Just let me pass the mic back to you in a hot second. But think about this. Think about people that are chiropractors that have a database of patients that don't come in and see them anymore, but they have all their emails. Do you have any ideas what we could do to like stoke that through video marketing to say,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
you have 20,000 patients that have come in and seen you in the past 7 years, but you only see 150 a week now. Maybe there's some ideas you have for reactivation, like old clients.
Well, I think that's a fantastic point to bring up there, because that is, to me, having worked in this space for so many years, that's where business owners have the advantage over anyone else that starts on YouTube, because they have these email lists. And email lists, from what I've noticed in my experience, is that email lists are basically guaranteed views for your content, right? And it's also a great way to build subscribers, and yes, definitely reactivate those customers who years ago, went there and then they're done, right? They go off. Now, this is where, depending on what kind of content you're creating, you can start to sort of revitalize that notion of like, have you seen your chiropractor this year or this month? Or, when's the last time you had a visit? And why is this important? Why is it something you should keep up? And that's where you can create content where you address that, where you address like, hey, if you're not sleeping well, maybe you need realignment. If something's hurting, maybe this is what you need, right? And you can start addressing problems that most of your customers will have, to then bring up the notion of like, they need to come see you. They need to set that appointment. And that's where you start to sort of put that thought into their head of like, oh man, I've been meaning to, I just don't think about it. But now they're getting in their email, they're getting it on the YouTube channel. And because, again, those are problems that you'll always address. And plus, you guys will know your patients and customers and clients to know what is it that they're struggling with, what is it that they come in for, and how can I address that to then help them and motivate them to come in and book those appointments.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of really good actionable information. And I'm really enjoying this conversation with you because you see the world from a YouTube marketing perspective and building brands. I look at it from a chiropractic perspective and what do my chiropractors need and how can we fill that space for them? I know a lot of people out there, two questions like straight off. They don't know how long to make a video. So maybe I can start with that is like, consumer wise, if you're the end user and you're looking for information and you stumble upon a chiropractor's video based on like the demographics that you tag it for, like if say they're in, Grand Junction, Colorado, and they make a video and somebody stumbles upon that, and they're saying, hey, these are my tips for stretching. These are my tips to avoid headaches. This is what you do after a car crash. Maybe if you had those types of videos, how long should those be?
Yeah, that's a great question. So my belief and my thought is that you should only make the video as long as you need it to be, right? Because you got to remember, people are there to get information, and most of the time people are somewhat impatient. But I'll let you guys know this and take this into consideration as well. The average viewer on YouTube spends about 45 minutes on YouTube. Okay, so then now don't take that as to go make 45-minute long videos. No, people are usually jumping around, right? But on average, a good video is anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes, depending on what you're teaching, right? Now, I'll say this, like on YouTube and even on other platforms, when it comes to content around chiropractor stuff, like what I notice is that people are usually just showing them all the pops and cracks and snaps that happen, right? Like people sort of are addicted to that content because that content has like thousands, if not millions of views most of the time, right? But one thing that I always see lacking from that is that I have no idea why they're doing any of that. Like no one's ever explaining anything of seeing someone's, neck turn a certain way and make a loud pop. Everyone's just like, wow, the sound and look how refreshing that looks. But why? Like, why did that happen? Right. And I think this is where you can start to stand out, is that you can make videos like that because people love to watch them, even though if they never think about visiting a chiropractor. But I think once you start to explain the reason behind why a move is done or why a technique was used, why the snap was so loud or crack was so loud, that's where you start to, bring some insight into it, to where people are like, huh, you know what, maybe this is something I need now. And so if you can do that within 5 minutes, do it within 5 minutes. If you can do that with 10 minutes, do it in 10 minutes. But you do have to make sure that you keep the viewer engaged enough to stay on and watch the video. So that's why I don't try to have people aim for, a certain time limit. I just say, as long as it takes you to describe it, then describe it in that time frame. And then just keep creating content, because the truth is, like, you can never run out of videos to create. Even if it's around the same topic, or even the same, let's say if we take the same technique or the same move, like you can talk about that in so many different ways and so many different angles. And that was one thing that I noticed when I worked at a screen protector company. Like literally a screen protector, all it does is protect the screen. Well, from that, I was able to create hundreds of videos that showed how a phone screen could be protected with the screen protector, whether it was that the screen was antibacterial or antimicrobial or whatever, or that, it could stand the impact of falling from your pocket, or falling from the car, or falling from all the hundreds of places that your phone could fall from, right? And then just showing that and putting it to the test and making it interesting. And yeah, all we were selling was screen protectors, and people would watch those videos and they'd go buy it because they knew that they would run into a situation like that. Not a situation where we're hitting it with a hammer or anything like that, but it built confidence that, hey, this screen protector is strong and it'll protect my phone.
Yeah, so I want to round up a little bit about what you shared. One thing that was for certain is create content determined on the length that you need, not a certain amount of time that you think you need to just fill space for. Take one thing and create education around it. So it's not just the dynamics of like the seeing somebody get adjusted. It's the explaining what's happening to the anatomy, what's happening to the body once that adjustment happens. So why education is so important, not just the sensationalism around somebody getting adjusted and hearing the audibles. So I think that's a really good takeaway for me. The other thing is there like a kiss of death link? Like, is there something that really deters people, like on a lengthwise? Like if they like look at videos overall and they're like, 17 minutes, that's my cutoff, or 12 minutes, that's like my cutoff. I won't watch anything over that, because I know that's the way it is for podcasts. If people see something that's like an hour, they just won't watch it or listen to it because the length is like the kiss of death. Like if it's 45 minutes and somebody has a 26-minute commute, they're not going to listen to that 45-minute piece. So you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. No, definitely understand. Yeah. Yeah. Cause my commute is only 20 minutes, and I'm like, all right, I'm not going to do a 60-minute podcast. I'll do a 15-minute podcast today. And so, yeah, for YouTube videos, I think it goes back to how much time do you actually need to describe something, where you're not given a college lecture course. You're not trying to condense every single, information under the sun about that one question, right? You want to give people just enough to address the question they had, and just given that answer, right? And sometimes let's do an example here. Like, what would be a common question that people would have when watching a video about chiropractic work or alignment?
They would watch it first of all to understand, I guess, why they have neck pain. They'd probably research neck pain, and then they would go down the rabbit hole and find somebody getting adjusted for neck pain.
All right, awesome. So starting with the initial question of why do I have a neck pain, right? Why do I have neck pain? I would make a video on just that, and then list probably 3 to 5 reasons why someone could have neck pain and how to resolve it, right? So in those 3 to 5 reasons, or 3 to 5 examples of why someone could have neck pain, you can then give a few examples in between there, or just say, like, the main reason for neck pain is usually this, and here's how best to fix it. Here's some things you can do at home, or here's some things that you can do, by coming into our office. Now, here's a big thing. If you were to solve their problem that they could solve at home, man, they're gonna love you more than anything, because now it's like, okay, they gave me a huge benefit for free. You know what? Next time I'm gonna always have them on my radar to be like, this is the person that solves my problems, and they'll come back. And so that's the way to look at it. So the question shouldn't be like, all right, time to divulge my 10 years of experience onto them and just dump it all on there for the next hour. No, like, just a few examples, few answers, and guess what? You can make that neck pain video hundreds of times over, because I'm sure there's different reasons why someone would have neck pain and how they could solve it. Maybe the how they solve it might be the same answer always, but the examples or the experience that goes behind it, or even like your own methodology behind of why you believe that, or why you say it this way, is going to be different and very personal to you, as the person sharing this experience with the viewer.
I love this, how you think from a different perspective than the person creating the content. You think about it from the inside user experience and why somebody would search for something and how they would find a solution to that. So I like the topics of, if I had neck pain, here's a solution. Ice it for 20 minutes, rest the ice off for 40 minutes, ice again for 20 minutes. If that's not helping, give us a call. Or
Yeah.
the reasons why it's important to have an x-ray if you have neck pain, because you don't know what's going on in there. You don't know if there's a misalignment in the bone, or there's some type of degeneration in the bone. So we need to check you with an x-ray before we'll adjust you. Call us and get in with us, type of a thing. So you want to educate, and then you want to give the offer. And I think, here's 3 simple stretches you can do for your neck if you're having neck pain. And if these things aren't working for you, then here's your call to action. Go ahead and give us a call and schedule your appointment today. You can do all that in probably about 1 minute, I would think, if you really had your script down and you knew that you were delivering to an audience that was going to be searching for neck pain. There's different ways for people to build out their content strategy. I'm sure you have ways for them to learn that. I know you have a course called the 100,000K channel formula. And that's probably something that teaches people how to build a content strategy and how to get their channel started, and the nuts and bolts that we talked about with a lot of these things that are probably people are very interested in. So do you want to kind of talk about that course a little bit and why you created it?
Yeah, for sure. So the 100K channel formula, the whole basis of the course is to really take someone's expertise, or even if they're an entrepreneur or a coach, and to really help them build out their authority and brand on YouTube, right? And the whole thing there is also to not worry about, like, creating fancy videos or creating videos every single day, but no, just sharing your knowledge and expertise with the tools that you already have. And most of us have smartphones, and the thing is, like, a smartphone can shoot the best quality video on YouTube. You don't need to go any crazier than that. It's not necessary. But yeah, it's helping people to build that brand, that following, and be able to sell their offers through YouTube. And one of the things too is that it's all organic, so nothing have to do with, like, spending all sorts of ad spend behind that. In fact, I've had a lot of people who are sort of worried about spending money on ads because they've done that in the past, and as soon as they turn them off, no sales. So it's like, all right, let's build you a machine that continues to bring you leads and sales, and that's YouTube.
Such a great resource for people. And I know you also have you told me it's called YouTube for Experts, Coaches, and Entrepreneurs. It's a Facebook group.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
that's a great community to join. A lot of free information in there. I'll definitely be sharing this interview in there as well. So
Well, I appreciate that too. And I think that the more that we work together in this ecosystem of helping others, like the reason that I created this chiropractic podcast wasn't for me or my own ego. I wanted to start telling the chiropractic story from the voice of the chiropractors. And after we've done so many interviews, I feel like we still have a lot of work to do with our strategies and our mapping of content and how we can actually build more traction with our brand, but also, cross pollinate um, the chiropractic message through our growth that I think is massively important for not only the chiropractor's message to get to people, but for our brand to grow with these different strategies that you teach. So sometimes we do self-serving activities, and that's one of building relationships with people that know what to do. But I think that that's also great to ecosystem merge with somebody that has creative resources for people that I deal with that are super analytical, and they don't understand really the why behind and how behind the strategy of either doing marketing, branding, or how to promote it the right way, length of things to do, and topics to build out on that. So I just want to really acknowledge you today for sharing some of your capacity that you had time for,
yeah.
and giving some people some takeaways on what they can do and how they can get more resources from you. At the end of this interview, I'm just gonna let you guys know that he's gonna post the links in the comments below for the 100K channel formula and to join that Facebook community. So, Anthony, is there anything I didn't touch on that you think I should have asked you today?
Yeah, I do want to share a quick story because I think it'll be very relatable to your audience. So there's this one of my clients. His name is Roger Wakefield, and he's a plumber, right? And he started on YouTube, and he also started a podcast back just a few years ago. Talking about plumbing, and his whole purpose of starting his podcast and starting his YouTube channel was to get clients to get for his services as a plumber, right, in his local area in Texas. And so he did that, and as he's done that, he has become a YouTube influencer over these past few years. In fact, he was at 40,000 subscribers from the years he had been on YouTube this last year, and today he's now at 200,000 subscribers, and he's now talked at conferences and spoken about being a YouTuber and talking about plumbing. And now he gets brand deals where people who create products or tools and things like that in his industry want him to promote them on his YouTube channel and on his podcast. The first way he started his YouTube channel was doing interviews similar to this, and now he's gone into, of course, then sharing his expertise of how you fix things. Because I mean, as a plumber, showing people how to fix things sort of defeats his purpose to go there and fix it for them. But what's happened is it's grown his business, his local business. But now it's gotten to a point where he doesn't even need to do his local business if he doesn't want to. Other people can run that for him. And now he's as sort of an influencer celebrity of sorts on YouTube, doing these sponsorships and brand deals and going around speaking about his journey and just having a great time. Like now he even makes videos where he talks about things that he sees on the internet where people have made some crazy plumbing mistakes and things like that. And I think that's what's incredible about YouTube, because you can do this for any industry, any expertise. And yeah, promoting his local business, that was what happened. And now it's gone into create a whole other new career for him in his life. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I think that translates really well over to chiropractors. All of them want to grow their local business, and I believe that all of them want to help more people. And if they create good quality content and learn how to build the brand on YouTube, I really believe that we can get chiropractic to the top. So great story there. I know that you posted something in that initial feed that I saw on that ClickFunnels page, and it was about
Yeah.
the story of your dad.
Yeah.
Do you want to share that before we
Yeah,
wrap
I
up
could
today?
definitely share that. Yeah.
I think it'll be powerful.
Yeah, for sure. So the similar to Roger's story, who's my client, but my dad became one of my clients as well, right? And what I for years I told my dad, because I saw him remodel homes. I knew he was an expert in what he did. I was never really any big help to him in those aspects, but for years I pressured him and tried to persuade him to start a YouTube channel and sort of teach what he knows. And finally, he decided to do it. And once he did, what's interesting is that today, when I looked up like our old social media posts, I noticed that today, last year, we were at 700 subscribers for his YouTube channel that he had just started. Today, if I look at it, this year, it's at 121,000 subscribers. And his life has changed completely. So as he started to create content, he started to help people and show them how to remodel their countertops with epoxy. He started to serve this community that was sort of underserved, where he's from, because a lot of people were Spanish speakers. They couldn't get this information in Spanish, and so he was able to teach them how to remodel their countertops using epoxy and do all these different remodeling projects in their own countries with their own resources and in their own language, of course. And so he's been able to grow that fan base. And because of that, they all started to ask him if he could teach them and do workshops and all that stuff. And so that was going to be very difficult to do. And so what he did is he created an online course where he taught more of this stuff and sort of laid it out for them. And from that, he was able to go from being a sales guy, because that's what his job was previous to starting his YouTube channel, was working in sales, working 40 hours a week, traveling back and forth about 2 hours where he was at to go to his job, which is crazy. And now all he does is make YouTube videos about twice a month, and he makes way more than he used to make doing his sales job. And I sort of say that he's retired, because one thing that my dad taught me was that if you're doing something that you love, like, you're not working, right? And so for him, he loves to create these YouTube videos now that he just creates with his iPhone and like a $20 microphone that we got off of Amazon. He just sets it up, records, teaches people how to do the countertops. And from that, he's gotten brand deals where they send him free product and they have him do commercials for them. And he's gotten even, like, in his local area where he lives, as they found out where he was at, like, people have invited him to come to their houses or come to their places of business to do services there. And so now he has, like, a nice business there on that side of being able to go in and do projects for businesses and people in the local community, while still selling his online course and while doing all these other things that basically allow him to enjoy life in Cancun, where he lives. So that's what has happened from YouTube. And it took about a year to do all that, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, I can just imagine what this strategy can do for chiropractors in 1 year's time if they start doing what you're talking about today. I just wanted to mention our next launch is Chiro Hustle Espanol. So we have
Awesome.
an anchor in Mexico that's in Toluca that will be doing a show weekly, Spanish speaking, interviewing chiropractors that are from the Latin world on
Oh, that's cool.
chiropractic. So more people have resources to understanding chiropractic, the science, the philosophy, and the art behind it, from the perspective of the Spanish speaking culture. So really cool stuff. I love the idea of what your dad did and what you had the plumber do and how it really changed their lives. So just want to once again appreciate you for spending some time with me today. I know that you're a busy guy and you have a lot going on, helping a lot of people, and you're going to post those links in the comments below. If you guys have any questions for Anthony, shoot them either to me on Messenger, or maybe you can send them in the comments below and he'll be able to respond to you. Anthony, thank you so much for spending some time with me today and sharing some stories and some do grade information so people can actually get some takeaways from our conversation today. And if you guys haven't yet, check out Chiro Hustle. We are the #1 podcast in chiropractic, and I hope your audience over on your YouTube for experts, coaches, and entrepreneurs appreciates this segment with us today as well.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. This is awesome.
All right, man. Well, who knows where we're going on the next move together, but I really look forward to working with you and your team as we both develop.
Cool. Awesome.
All right. Well, you guys are just one story away. Keep hustling. We'll see you guys on the next episode.